Hi everyone, welcome to my video looking at my bets for the Cheltenham 2022 series. I make these videos out of a bank of £400. It's done like that to show transparency, to show whether I have made a profit or if I've made a loss. The odds are always available on the prices on the horses I put up because not many people watch the videos. I don't move the markets like other videos. The prices are always available, and I always say to everyone that I just do a normal job and you shouldn't just follow my bets in unless you fancy them. In the video we'll look at the bets I placed. Some were good, some were bad. It took a lot of faith to keep going. I was always confident in my own ability to turn it around, but I think if someone was following the bets they would have been, like the Celtic song says, walking on with hope in their heart and just hoping I could turn it round. We did have 3 Antipost bets. 2 of those were very good, and that's really nice because I had put some poor bets off last season. The 4 previous seasons I'd made a profit. I bet the entire bank this season of £400 and the return was £792, and I'll now get on to what the stakes were, where the returns came from and how the profit was made. The Antipost bets, there were 3. £30 to win, Tell Me Something Girl at 14 to 1. Grossly overpriced after being beaten on her first prep run. I put this bet up really hopeful she would win. In the race she ran really well. She was absolutely hacking coming towards the second last, when a horse fell in front of her, rolled over and caught her back legs. Nothing she could do, couldn't get out of the way, and we've gone from what I felt was an almost certain winner to a loser in about 2 seconds. I was really upset by this defeat because it's nice to get ahead early in the festival and then you can really bet with confidence. I really fancied a few later in the week, and I think I would have gone on to make a fairly substantial profit if this bet had won. Well, I would have done that anyway because of the other Antipost bet that won. But I feel I would have had a really good Cheltenham if this bet had won instead of being brought down. It was a loss of £30 and a really disappointing result. We had another disappointing result on the Tuesday with Vanillier. He was a £40 win bet at 15 to 2, non-runner no bet, after he was we were told that Derek O'Connor would ride, so I had a good jockey, a horse who'd won at the festival last year and a half decent price. I hadn't taken into consideration that his jumping had been slow, careful and not really good enough in his previous attempts. I thought that would be ironed out by Gavin Cromwell prior to the festival. It wasn't, and we were beaten at halfway. A loss of £40, and I'm not saying it's a poor bet, but it was a very poor run, that's for sure. The final Antipost bet was a £25 win bet on the Nice Guy at 14 to 1 for the Albert Bartlett, and where we'd been very unfortunate in Tell Me Something Girls race, I think maybe we were a little fortunate here. The Nice Guy did have a serious challenge coming from Ginto when that horse fell. Broke down during the race and was fatally injured. So perhaps a little fortunate to win on him. I thought he ran a fabulous race for an inexperienced horse and a return of £375. I just feel this bet had one error. It should have been a £30 win bet because with it running so late in the festival, I should have ensured that my return was going to be more than my bank. The final bet that ran on the Monday was a bet on a double, Queensbrook and Runwell Fred. It was basically to cover the 2 horses that I'd put off Antipost. In the event, both finished second, Queensbrook slightly unlucky and Runwell Fred running a poor race. A loss of £25 on that bet. On to the Wednesday. And I never really fancied a lot on the Wednesday, especially with the rain forecast to come. And when I did the daily video, I only really sort of fancied 2 horses in the Coral Cup, one which I fancied more than the other. And I didn't fancy anything in the Grand Annual. Yet I went back looking at the Grand Annual, trying to force a bet. I did manage to force a £15 bet on Il Ridotto. It was a really poor bet and really costly, because the two I fancied in the Coral Cup produced the winner. But sadly for me, I fancied Ashdale Bob more, put £15 of bank on him to win at 20 to 1, and he ran a fantastic race to finish third, giving us a lot of hope for a long way and only been run out of it up the running. But the other selection in that race was the 50 to 1 winner, Commander of Fleet, and instead of putting two small bets on the Coral Cup, I've gone looking for a bet in the Grand Annual. So a loss of £30 on the Wednesday. Looking at the bets on the Thursday, you can probably say that I've chucked £100 away on two less than good bets. £60 to win on the Glancing Queen, who had the form, in my view, to win the plate. He was 5 to 1. I think we got a little bit of value on her, but after running La Homme Presse so close in the Dipper, she's not seen her race out here. She's faded from the second loss. A really disappointing run, in my view. I was really disappointed with her. The £40 to win on Royal Kahala at 8 to 1 was also a poor bet, really. I really thought that she could win this race. Getting the £7, she had the ground in her favour. She ran really well in the Galmoy Hurdle, beaten a few of her rivals, and beaten Ashdale Bob, who'd run so well for us on the Wednesday. In the event, she was outclassed, wasn't good enough, and faded from the last to finish 6th. The final bet on the Thursday was a £20 win on Born Patriot in the Pertemps. He fell and was fatally injured, so we'll never ever see if he would have fulfilled his potential. We don't know where he'd have finished. And a really difficult day on the Thursday, with a loss of £120 overall. Moving on to the Friday, and we had the £25 Antipost on the Nice Guy at 14 to 1. I still don't know how he went off at 18 to 1 really with his form, but that's for another day. We had £130 of the bank left, and with me noticing that the Nice Guy was drifting badly, I decided to put the full 130 on, which in hindsight gambled our profit, because if I'd only put 100 on, I would have made a profit whether I got no winners on Friday or not. In the event, we did have a winning bet on the Friday. I really fancied Stateman, and there was a big thought in my mind to just go £100 to win Stateman at 7 to 2. But by the time I put the bets out, I went a £35 win double on Vauban at 7 to 4 and Stateman at 100 to 30. Both won very well, and both really well ridden by Paul Townend. And I think we lay the ghost of Kilcrat now, after he gave that such a shocking ride. I'll stop going on about it after these two really good rides. And a return of £417. And of course, with the Nice Guy Antipost bet in the next race, another £375 into the coffers. Within 2 hours, we've turned it round and almost doubled our bank. The 3 remaining bets on the Friday, 2 were good and 1 was poor. Jesse Evans was a horse that I always wanted to back for the County Hurdle, being held back by Noel Mead. In the event, he faded out of it from the home turn and never really got involved in the finish. Loss of £20 there. Freedom to Dream, we had £20 to win in the Martin Pipe. He ran a really good race to finish 4th. I'm not sure he ever looked like quite winning, but he was never going to be out of the places at the same time. It was a good solid run. He gave us a run for our money, and I think a lot of people would have put him off each way, as I said in the daily video and in the bet video, and I actually backed him each way myself as well. I lost a £20 on Freedom to Dream, but the poor bet, I think, on the Friday was Bob & Co. Another horse who'd had jumping issues, fallen at the festival last year. I just felt they'd gone back to the festival. They must think this horse has got a chance. Paul Nicholls has let him take his chance. David Maxwell spent a lot of money trying to win a race at Cheltenham. I just felt everything was in place for a big run. In the event, he made one blunder before he fell, and another horse, just like Vanillier, that I possibly shouldn't have backed in hindsight, and a loss of £55 on him. The final totals, staked £400 and returned £792. It is extremely difficult to make a profit as one person putting your head above the parapet. Nobody to back you up, nobody to have an entertaining show with, just yourself. I felt there were good, bad and indifferent bets. I certainly need to look at the fact I've backed two indifferent jumpers in Vanillier and Bob & Co, losing £95. I probably need to look back through my notes and wonder why I backed the Glancing Queen and Royal Kahala. I do know the reasons I backed them, but were they good bets? But out of the rest of the bets, I feel most of them were very good. I think my performance on my own videos is what matters to me. I did try to put some selections up for a contest, a champ.ie podcast, where you had to put a selection up each week. Now my performance in that was way below this. And that's why it's so difficult to just put a selection up each week, because I ended up hemming and hawing about each selection, not knowing which one to put up, because they weren't really, they were half-hearted selections. They weren't selections I was confident about. And it ended up, I had two winners, Vauban and Billoway, and I had two winners in the wrong races, which is another reason why I believe you should be selective, because I had Sir Gerhard at 9-1 for the Supreme, and Maurice Rock at 33-1 for the Coral Cup. And they both ran in different races and won at the festival. So, as you can see, the picks were okay, but because I wasn't able to be as selective as I am in my own videos, I made a loss on those bets. But on my own bets and on my own videos where I'm properly judged, I made a profit. And that's the most important thing to me. I'm very proud of the profit I've made. I don't think there's a whole lot more to say. I think my approach is correct. I try to learn from the lessons from poor bets, and I try my very hardest to beat the bookmakers. That is the ultimate aim with my videos, is to beat the bookmakers. And for 5 years in a row, I've achieved that. And I love that, because I don't want to give them a penny piece of my money. I really detest most bookmakers. I think they're parasites. They want to break people in a lot of respects. They don't have any respect for anybody. They send free bets, etc., to anybody who they think is a mag punter, to try and get more of their money and to keep them betting. And my ultimate goal is to beat them, to have me putting more money in my pocket than when I went into the bookmakers. And if anybody's following me, I want them to win as well. And it's really, really important to me that I do well. If I lose, it won't be for the want of trying, that's for sure. So, yeah, I won't go on any longer. I'll thank you all for anybody who's watching. I have a great group who watch the videos. I'm eternally grateful to you all. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.